Hello, my name is Bernard Kast and today I'm gonna talk about how to visualize numbers in presentations. First off, a short overview about what I will talking about. At first, the overall challenge which we are presented with is the perception of numbers and how people relate to numbers. I will shortly discuss what are the main challenges and problems you're gonna face. Second point is make your numbers relatable. I will give you some examples and show you how you can make your numbers relatable to your audience. Third point is potential design approaches for your slides. How you can approach for different audiences and different types of numbers, which way is the best way to design your slide and your numbers and what to select. And finally, some final thoughts on the topic. So the first point is the general perception of numbers, which challenges we face if we present or talk about numbers. The first part is most humans don't understand numbers. Another thing is that numbers are usually pretty hard to remember. We get bombarded with numbers every day. Our mind just throws them away usually. So if you have a presentation and you have some really important numbers you want to get across to leave an impression or to make a message, then it's important that your audience can remember them. Another point is that most numbers don't carry any meaning with them. There are a few exceptions like 666 and other numbers that have a meaning attached to them, but usually you're probably not gonna have 666 very often in your presentation, hopefully. These are the main challenges we have. And it gets even worse if the numbers are very large. Beyond 1 million, most people can't relate at all to numbers. You have a nice quote for that. Despite their importance in public discourse, numbers in the range of 1 million to 1 trillion are notoriously difficult to understand. And that's from the extract of an article in a journal about cognitive science. Here's the source if you want to look it up. How we can approach it. Make your numbers relatable. How can you achieve that? Well, the first way is to make one or several comparisons. Simply put, instead of saying we have 1 million customers, this year you relate to a city with 1 million inhabitants, a city your audience knows very well. Very important in this part, choose values that your audience can relate to. So, for instance, if you're in Germany and talk about the inhabitants of New York, probably no one knows how many people live there. The next way is to visualize those numbers. Now, visualizing can be done in two ways. You can do it literally or figuratively. Next part is, what are potential designs for your slides to visualize numbers in the most effective way? One way is use graph and charts. That's a very common approach. Here it's very important. Do you really need all those numbers? Usually you just want to point out 2 or 3 very important values or value differences. So best is you show the general, all the numbers at first, and then when you go into detail, you grab out the most important numbers and compare them to each other. That's way better if you keep the whole big chart there because it's about the message. The next approach would be just use simple areas. Here it's important that the size is correct overall. You don't need to be exactly correct, but in general it should be on the mark. Also be careful with selecting certain colors. It shouldn't look cheesy, it should be with the overall style of the presentation. Next approach is you use symbols like man, cars, power stations, And the final, the most, well, probably creative or informal approach would be with pictures. Like you take the Golden Gate Bridge and say, well, that's about how many inhabitants are in San Francisco. This list is ordered, and the further down the line, the less formal is the approach. And one could say it gets more creative with each step. So be sure to be aware of this fact. Now some final thoughts on the topic of visualizing numbers in presentations. Make sure the design matches the overall style of your presentation and your talk. Also be creative. Try something new. Don't forget, presentations are about standing out and making a point. But be sure to test your ideas. Ideally with a colleague or a friend. It could be that you have a perfect idea, but the execution is a bit off. Thank you for watching. My name is Bernard Kast. I hope you liked it. If so, please like, comment or subscribe. Leave me a message if you have any requests or questions. I will be happy to answer them. And have a nice day. Bye.